this cover off, just use a trim tool, get behind here, pop that up. There's 3 clips that hold that on. This vehicle has manual crank windows. You're gonna need a special tool like this. Slide it in between the little washer and the handle, and you slide it up, and it just pops that clip out. You can pop that clip back on for when you reinstall it. Pop this cover off right here. You can either use a pick, a straight blade screwdriver, or a trim tool. Just slide that off. And there's another cover right here, the same thing. Just use a pick, get underneath. And just pop it out. A couple of clips that hold that on. Take the lock knob off, just use a pick. There's a little retainer right here that you just try to slide it out. Once it's out that far, then you can slide it up. Use a 10mm socket and take the bolt out here, and there's 2 in there behind the handle. Now there's push pins all the way around the perimeter of the door. Just take a trim tool, just get in behind and just pop it out. And when they're all popped out, just slide the panel up and out. And you can take some needle nose pliers, just get behind here. Try to pinch the cable. I'll show you once I get it out. There we go. And it just slides out like that. This little ball slides up. When you're trying to get the cable out, you just pinch these 2 little ears, and then it slides out, and then the ball slides up. Make sure the window's up. If you have to, put the crank on just to crank the window up, and slide this vapor barrier out of the way. You can just peel it, or you can take a razor blade and try to cut it. Just be careful not to rip it. Now we're going to disconnect this rod right here. This is the one attached to the yellow clip. You just grab behind the clip. And this is what opens the door. And then just slide that clip out like that. And slide the rod away. And then the other rod goes up to where the lock cylinder is. You have to go up to that lock rod, and you have to push it towards the outside of the door and unattach it from the lock. There we go. So that popped off. That's loose. Take this grommet off. Slide that out of the way. And this cable, and just slide that out of the way. There's 2 bolts we need to take out. You can use a 10mm socket, one through this hole. You're going to want a long extension, and one through this hole. Line that up. That bolt out. And take that bolt out. And then slide this handle off. You're going to slide it towards the vehicle a little bit. Then you kind of almost need to open the handle a little and then slide this out. Now take the old rod. We're going to take this off the old handle and just slide it off. Doesn't matter if that breaks, and slide it onto the new one. This is the release rod, just like that. Now we want to switch over the lock cylinder, so take a straight blade screwdriver and just slide it underneath this clip. Sometimes it's easier just to take the clip off completely. Slide that out and just slide it into the new one. Lock it down. Now you can reinstall this in the car. Now slide this rod down through there. Just open the handle just slightly. Oops. Slide that in. And with the handle closer to the vehicle, push it in a little bit and slide it to the outside. That looks good. Take these two bolts and carefully line them up. And get them both started. And just snug those up, not too tight. Now take the rod that attaches to the lock cylinder. You need to line that up with the lock cylinder. There's a little like clamp that you have to get the rod through the center of it. It's a little red clamp. Kind of hard to see. Now it's lined up, and just pull it towards the center of the vehicle, and it should clip in. That looks good. You could double check with the key, just make sure it locks and unlocks. And the rod with the yellow clip, you're going to line that other rod up. Push it in, and then close the clip. Make sure it latches, and you can double check that as well. Now take the vapor barrier, line everything up. Make sure this cable comes out here, and re-stick it down. If it doesn't stick, you can use some more butyl tape. That's good. Now line the door panel up. Take the rod, slide the ball in place, and then lock the cable in, just like that. Line the lock rod up. Get the top part of the door panel started. There we go. And that's lined up. Then push it back in, push all the push pins in. Now install the bolts. And the bolts behind the handle. Put the lock button on, just make sure this lock rod is up. slide it in position, and push that little lock tab down. Make sure it works. Put this cover back on. Take this cover, line it up, lock it down, and make sure the handle has the clip in place. Take the little washer that goes on the outside and try to line the handle up the same direction where it was when you took it off. And line this cover up, lock it down.